You know, this was the first time I've been on the school board. And I know we've made mistakes, and I know I've made mistakes. But, and it's unfortunate I don't see a lot of the parents that we usually face each month with the backlash that we got. But we're not your enemy, and you're not our enemy. We want to serve you, and we want to serve those children. They're near and dear to my heart. But you know, Hitler had a quote, and he says, "Tell a lie long enough and loud enough, and people will believe the lie." And the one thing I kept hearing every month was we're banning books. And it was truly heart-wrenching. I walked out the first time we had this meeting, it was like I had PTSD. I walked out and I thought, man, I don't even want to go back. And here we are just trying to enlighten people, protect children, and we get this backlash. So, and we kept hearing, you're banning books, just like Hitler, you're banning books. And that was a repeated theme. And it goes right along with that Hitler quote. And we weren't banning books. We had inappropriate material in this library that needed to be removed. You know, and as I was doing or preparing this, there was one thing that I never forgot, and it was right after the first board meeting we had when we had all this chaos and confusion over banning books. And I talked to a mom because when she was speaking, and afterwards, towards the end, she said, I have a child that is being bullied, and nobody's doing anything about it. And after the meeting, I went up to her and I said, you know what, I am very concerned about your child being bullied. I and my wife assisted me in doing the audit. I went to Meg when she was the superintendent, and I said, I'd like to do an audit of our library. And I want to see if there's any inappropriate books. And I told her I would keep it confidential because I didn't want to embarrass the district. And so I went through and we found 17 books that were listed that were inappropriate. And of those 17, we eliminated a few because they were just, it didn't meet the criteria that we felt or that I felt. And so we identified 10 books that were extremely off the hook. And I had to review each one of these through book looks, and it had all this sexual content in it. And you know, I had to take that in. And it was something I had to fight to keep out all my life. And you know, that mom, when I was reading one of those books, and I hope we have no children in here.
Yep.
Is it all right?
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right. So this one book I came across truly disturbed me because it connected me right with what that mom had said. And the book was titled The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. And as I go through it, and mind you, her son he's being bullied. He's adopted, and he's an American Indian. It's key to remember that. And in page 37, the book says, I like girls, their curves, and I really like women and their curves, or their curvier curves. I spend hours in the bathroom with a magazine that has 1,000 pictures of naked movie stars. Naked women plus right hand equals happy, happy, joy, joy. Yep, that's right. I admit that I masturbate. I'm proud of it. I'm good at it. I'm ambidextrous. And if there were a professional masturbator league, I'd be drafted #1 and make millions of dollars. And maybe they're thinking, well, you really should be talking about, really shouldn't be talking about masturbation in public. Well, tough. I'm going to talk about it because everybody does it and everybody likes it. And if God hadn't wanted us to masturbate, then God wouldn't have given us thumbs. So thank you, God, for my thumbs.
Amen.
On page 64, it says, did you know that Indians are living proof? The N word, the F word, buffalo. I felt like Roger had kicked me in the face. That was the most racist thing I had ever heard in my life. And then there's an illustration in the book, and it has a person, a young boy, and he's cut in half. And on one side, he's white, and on the other side, he's Indian. And it illustrates on the page, it depicts a diagram of a young boy split in half, white, and on one side, Indian on the other, and it's written on the other side, on the white side, are labeled a bright future, a positive role model, hope, Ralph Lauren shirt, ergonomic backpack with cell phone, Timex wristwatch, and the largest or the latest Air Jordans. On the Indian side, there are labels: a vanishing past, a family history of diabetes and cancer, bone-crushing reality, Kmart t-shirt, Sears blue jeans, 2 pairs for $19.99, no wristwatch, Glad garbage bag, or Glad garbage book bag, canvas tennis shoes, purchased in aisle 7 at Safeway supermarket. Then he goes on to say down here, let's see, here's another section. I mean, each page has the pages where the graphic stuff's at, but I'm just going to certain points. On page 201, it says, "She hugged me hard, and I have to admit, it felt pretty dang good. Miss Warren was like 50 years old, but she was still pretty hot. She was all skinny and muscular because she jogged all the time. So I sort of physically reacted to her hug. And the thing is, Miss Warren was hugging me so tight that I'm pretty sure that she could feel my physical reaction. I was kind of proud, you know. No, I was mostly ashamed of my physical reaction to the hug. Yep, I had a bigger erection when I heard that my sister's death. How perverted is that? How inappropriately hormonal can one boy be?" And I know we're getting a lot of backlash about the science curriculum. And I have to tell you, when I sat down to look at the teacher's lesson book, the one thing that hit me was there was a clause in there about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a big farce. It's a lie, and people put it out there, make it look like it's a good thing. So let me give you an example. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. When you go to a college or a university, and I'm sure if you're watching the news, if you're paying attention, you will see it. Conservatives are not allowed to go to college campuses and speak. And if they do, riots break out and they start burning the school until the school cancels the conservatives from coming to speak. But yet we want to allow everybody to have their opportunity to speak, but silence the conservative. So I don't know how that works. The next thing is the attack on women's sports in the colleges and the universities. We sit here and we bow down to this craziness in the world that a man can say he's a woman, go into the woman's restroom and expose his genitals to those women that are preparing to go in for their sport. And it's okay in our society. We have lost our minds. And the women that have dedicated their life to be as good as they can for a potential of maybe making the Olympics or a professional sporting career, they're told to stand aside. He deserves it more than you. And then we have the Jews. Look at our college campuses right now and the hatred for the Jews. Hitler's on the rise again and he's not even alive. but this craziness is going on in our college campuses who are pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Drives me absolutely insane. The stuff that happened on October 7th is unbelievable, and yet the college campuses are supporting what happened. And I tell you, there's two stories that resonate in my mind that I heard. There was one where it was a gang rape, where this group raped this Jewish woman, and the last guy, the commander, shot her in the head while he's in the act of.
Okay, well, we need to be focused on what your board report is here. So.
But my point is, we have a library, a curriculum that's pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I'm stumped right there in that science curriculum. Because what else are they going to teach? What else are they showing? So let's look at the next thing. We'll look at critical, or climate control, climate issues, climate change.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but that really troubles me too, because climate change, they put the fear and panic in the children, and they build them up for a generation to accept the lie. And I'm going to say it's a lie because, you know, I really struggled with it, because I had one teacher in here, I was talking to her about it, and I admitted, you know what? There is a change in our climate. But you know what God revealed to me while I was processing this? I don't know if you remember, or if you saw the news headings about Dubai, that amazing metropolis that they built, that I thought I might want to go see one day. Not really, but it is truly fascinating. They received a storm in that area, and they received a year's worth of rain in 2 days. And it flooded that place, destroyed it. And that's all you saw on the news, this massive flood, this climate change. But what they failed to tell you was that the United Arab Emirates government is focused on seeding the clouds. They seeded the clouds for 5 days when they saw a storm coming into the area, and that's what dumped all that water. We had the same thing happen. I watched another report on a storm that was happening, storm clouds coming across Texas. A group went up and seeded the clouds, and when that storm got to Oklahoma, we all heard the storm. We all heard about the tornadoes and the heavy rain and the thunderstorms, and we say it's climate change. It's government that's doing it to us. And we're only teaching one side of it, to put the fear and panic in the children. Yeah.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else have a board report? All right. Moving on, we of course.
For the latest education news for Gold Oak Union School District, follow us on Facebook at Gold Oak for Students.